You've been in a Florida car accident. You're already up against a system designed to protect the insurance company. But when you know the insider strategies they hope you never learn, you can protect your rights and even walk away with the settlement worth far more than the insurance company's first offer. Because if you don't know how they work behind the scenes, you could be leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table. Money you might be legally entitled to. Hi, I'm Pablo Tamayo. I've been practicing law in the state of Florida for almost 2 decades. And today, I'm going to share with you 5 secrets that insurance companies absolutely do not want you to know about maximizing your car accident settlement in Florida. These aren't tricks or gimmicks. These are strategic approaches I've used for 2 decades representing car accident victims throughout Florida. They've helped my clients recover millions more than they would have received if they've handled their claims alone. Let me be clear about something right up front. Insurance companies are not your friends, especially after an accident. They're businesses designed to pay out as little as possible on every claim. They have teams of adjusters, investigators, and attorneys whose job it is to minimize what you receive. But when you understand how the system actually works, you can level the playing field. The biggest mistake I see accident victims make is not properly documenting their injuries and damages from day one. Here's what most people don't realize. Your case isn't just about your medical bills. It's about the full impact this accident has had on your life. Start with photographs. Take pictures of your vehicle damage from every angle, the accident scene, your visible injuries, and any property that was damaged, including the other vehicle. But don't stop there. Document your pain levels daily. Keep a journal of how your injuries affect your daily activities. Can't sleep through the night? Write it down. Missing work because of doctor's appointments? Document it. Can't pick up your children because of back pain? That's part of your case. I had a client who was rear-ended at a red light. The damage wasn't extensive, but she developed severe back and neck pain. Because she documented her daily pain throughout her case, showing how the accident affected her ability to work and care for her elderly mother, we were able to secure a settlement that was over 5 times the initial offer. Florida follows what's called modified comparative negligence, codified in Florida Statute 768.81. This means that even if you're partially at fault for an accident, you can still recover damages, but your recovery will be reduced by your percentage of fault. However, if you are found to be greater than 50% at fault, even if someone was also to be partially at fault, you cannot recover any damages. Here's why this matters for your settlement. Insurance companies will try to assign you blame when you clearly weren't at fault, because every percentage point of fault they can pin on you reduces what they have to pay. Let's say you're in an accident and your case goes to trial and you get a judgment worth $100,000 in damages. If the insurance company can convince a jury you were 30% at fault, they only pay $70,000. If they can't pin any fault on you, they would have to pay the full $100,000. I've seen cases where insurance companies claim my client was speeding, not paying attention, or following too closely, even when the police report and the investigation clearly showed that the other driver ran a red light. Don't let them do this to you. Document how the accident happened, and this, having an experienced attorney, becomes crucial. Insurance adjusters are trained to make quick, low settlement offers, hoping you'll take the money and go away. They're counting on you overwhelmed, in pain, and financially stressed. They know that if they can get you to accept their initial offer, they'll save their company thousands of dollars. Here's what they don't tell you. That first offer is almost always a fraction of what your case is actually worth. I've never seen a first offer that wasn't a low offer. Not once in all my years of practice. The adjuster might say something like, "We want to be fair, get this resolved quickly for you." What they really mean is, we want to pay you as little as possible before you figure out what your case is actually worth. I recently handled a case where a client was T-boned by a driver who ran a stop sign. The insurance company's first offer was something like $10,000. They said it was a generous offer and that my client should accept it quickly. However, after we got involved and thoroughly invested the case, that same insurance company paid the $100,000 policy limits within just a few months. The difference? We knew the true value of the case, and we weren't afraid to fight for it. Florida is a no-fault state, which means you have personal injury protection coverage that pays for your medical treatment regardless of who caused the accident. Under Florida Statute 627.736, your PIP coverage provides up to $10,000 in medical benefits. Here's the secret. Maximizing your PIP benefits doesn't just get you better medical care. It also increases the value of your case against the at-fault driver. The more documentation you have of your injuries and of your treatment, the stronger your case. But there's a critical time limit. Under Florida law, you must seek medical treatment within 14 days of your accident, or your PIP benefits are reduced to only $2,500. Don't wait. Even if you haven't been catastrophically injured immediately after the accident, adrenaline and shock can mask serious injuries. I've represented clients who have tried to tough it out for several days after the accident, then developed severe pain because they waited longer than the 14 days to see a doctor, and they lost $7,500 in available PIP benefits, which also reduced the value of their injury claim in the eyes of the insurance adjuster. This is where most people leave money on the table. Your settlement isn't just about medical bills and lost wages. In Florida, you're entitled to compensation for pain and suffering, emotional distress, loss of enjoyment of life, and the impact the injuries have had on your life and even your marriage. These non-economic damages often represent the largest portion of a settlement, but they're the hardest to quantify and the easiest for insurance companies to minimize. Here's how you build a strong case for damages. Show, don't just tell. If you used to run marathons and now you can't jog around the block, get a letter from your running club. Get photos of you competing in those races previously. If your injuries have affected your relationship with your spouse, have them document how things have changed. For example, if you were an avid golfer before your accident and you suffer a back injury that doesn't prevent you from playing golf entirely, but it significantly affects your game and enjoyment, you would document how this handicap has increased. You may have to give up tournament play and how this impacts your social and mental health. We've had clients in similar situations, and having that documentation to tell your story can be very impactful in proving damages. These 5 secrets can substantially increase the value of your settlement, but only if you implement them correctly, consistently. The insurance companies are counting on you not knowing these strategies. They're betting that you'll take their quick, low offer and walk away. Don't let them win. You now understand how to properly document your case, how Florida's modified comparative negligence laws can affect your recovery, why you should never accept their first offer, how to maximize your PIP benefits, and how to build a strong case for pain and suffering damages. But knowing these secrets is just the beginning. There's one crucial element that can make or break your entire case, and most people get it completely wrong. It's about timing your medical treatment correctly. And it's so important that I've dedicated an entire video to it. My next video, when I should get medical treatment after a car accident in Florida, the specific timeline that can mean the difference between a full recovery and losing thousands in available benefits. This isn't just about getting quality care. It's about protecting your legal rights and maximizing your compensation. If you've been in an accident, this timing issue is critical to your case. Don't make the mistake that could cost you thousands. See you over there.